Yeah. So Narad Muni, so he's praying. These two gentlemen are praying to the Lord. May our eyes always see the forms of your pure devotees. See, this can be achieved. This can be achieved by way of increasing the time of chanting. Once my learning is, you increase the number of rounds of chanting, you will be busy in chanting and thinking about the Lord. You will do away with gossips. First thing in your life you'll cut off is the gossips. People spend time on chatting, chit chatting. I see people, they can chit chat for hours, all nonsense talks. They don't know what, but they're talking. They're really talking. And particularly, you see, generally, uh, the in office gossips happen. People are talking, meetings are going on, just discussing so many things. People are just discussing. So chanting, if we focus on chanting, our all such gossips will go away. That is the first thing which will happen. Second thing is always we'll once after that we'll start getting a taste. Then we'll start getting the taste of Lord's pastimes. Sit only about the Lord we'll think and his devotees. We'll think only about the Vaishnavas. We'll think about his stories. So now that liking will start. So I've started liking only. I prefer to read only Ramayana or Bhagavatam. I listen to Bhagavatam Kathas. That's the only thing which I like because my taste has changed. I feel this is amazing. This is a beautiful thing I have, and I've started sharing. So I share in my office. So say I was in my office yesterday. We did some Ramayana celebration, this Ayodhya celebration. I spent some time, sharing about Ramayana, so Shabri Mata stories and something I share, and that is also helping me. That's actually making me thinking only about the Lord. So this is the way when we learn, when we read, we should start sharing. We should see that we share with others what we have heard. This will also help others also to get the taste, and they will also. And I've seen people liking it. Some people came to me and said, after you tell something, we have started reading Bhagavad Gita or we have started reading Ramayana. So that is good. So people should be told so that that thought process uh, gets into that. So our activity should engage around Lord Krishna. And as I see my office work is going very smoothly. It's like a cakewalk now. Everything is happening perfect. I'm not having any stress or struggle. Everything is working fine. So that change I can see once we start increasing the number of chanting. Once that, then all qualities will start falling in us. So this can be achieved. This what is mentioned here. Ambrish Maharaj also did only this. Ambrish Maharaj was such a great devotee of the Lord. So we'll uh, this thing about his story also we'll see. Lord Krishna, still tied to the mortar, smiled and spoke to them. Narad Muni's kindness knows no bounds. Despite his curse, which caused you to become trees, he favored both of you. O Nala and Manigriv, this is the power of my pure devotees. Now you both may return home and remain absorbed in bhakti. So now Lord Krishna is saying, Narad Muni's kindness is, no boundaries. It is amazing. And also he cursed you to become trees. We'll read, why they became trees. That's their name is they are Nala Kuvera and Managriv. Actually, his name is Nal and Managriv because Nal is a very small word. So Kuvera is his father's name. So Nala Kuvera is added and Managriv. They are brothers. They are son of Kuver. They are treasurer of the Devta. And he says, the power of my devotees, pure devotees, is you cannot think. So now you both return home and remain absorbed in bhakti. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, I was reading one story where one of the devotee of the Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu's family was the devotee, but one of the family member, what he did, he used to misuse some funds which he used to collect as a collector, and then he was put in jail and this thing. But his family came to Lord for help, but Lord said, "No, I'll not help because he was doing wrong." But still, that person was saved. Not only he was saved due to Lord's mercy, something happened, and so there's a story for a little big story, but something happened, and in fact, he was saved. Not only he was saved, he was made a collector with a highest double salary, and because that king made him a double salary because this was Lord's mercy. Then after that person agreed that he will not do anything wrong, and he said, "I'll focus only on bhakti." Everything he realized, everything good happened to him because of Lord's mercy. So Lord's devotees, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also did because his devotee came to him for request. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't tell him that I'm helping. In fact, he was angry with him. But Lord's devotees are very merciful. So here, Narad Muni has actually cursed them, but he has favored them. So Nala, Kuber, Manigriv circumambulated Krishna and bowed down before taking their leave. In his thoughts, Krishna pondered, Kubera's son are praising me for freeing them from bondage. But my mother binds me up and scolds me. Still, out of love, I stay in Gokul. To me, the scolding of my mother is greater than the praises of the Devas. So yeah, Lord is saying, see, such great people, big people are coming and they are praising me, they are praying me, and my mother is, binding me and scolding me, but I am loving it, and I want. This is the best thing. I don't like those praises. The scolding of mother is the greater than these praises. So now we'll listen about who are Nalakuver and Manigriv. Nalakuver and Manigriv were the sons of Kuver, the wealthiest among the Devtas. They were the associates of Lord Shiva, living in Kailash. Being very wealthy, they were proud and careless. One day they became very intoxicated with wine and entered sacred Mandakini river naked, along with some young women, oblivious of their surroundings. So generally we see this today's world also, if somebody is the wealthy people are the more misbehaved or uncultured or this thing. So here also Kuber son, they were they were very this thing, were very proud and careless because of wealthy, and what they were drinking, they were having wine, and they entered a Mandakini river. It's a sacred river of tributary of Ganga, and they entered naked, and that also with some young women. And it was at this time moment that the venerable sage Narad arrived on the scene, and he was just passing by. Narad Muni was just passing by, and the young woman in the river, feeling ashamed and fearing potential curses, immediately came out of the water and covered their bodies with their clothes. However, Nala, Kuber and Manigriv remained naked in the river shamelessly. So they were so, drunk that they didn't realize, Narad Muni has come and such a great saint has come, and they should be standing before, they should welcome, and that they should not be this way, they should be wearing proper clothes. But Narad Muni, then what Narad Muni did, he cursed them to turn into trees. Why trees? Because trees are naturally naked without. So you like so he thought, you want to become naked, become trees. Trees don't wear clothes. So and they are also dumb. So he was cursed to become trees. But Narad's curse was a blessing on Kuvera's son as they became trees in Nand Maharaj's courtyard and could witness all the amazing childhood pastimes of Krishna. So what was the best thing to happen? They became trees in Vrindavan. So it is such a beautiful, and that also in the house of Nand Maharaj, where Lord Krishna is staying. And so they were very, very fortunate, becoming a small blade of grass or a stone is also a very fortunate thing in Vrindavan, because Lord Krishna stays there. This is the house of Lord Krishna. He's always there. Even in his bound state, Krishna had the power to release others from their bondage. Hearing the loud, so this is the story of Manigriv and Nala Kuvera, so the sons of Kuber, and why they were cursed. Hearing the loud crash as the two trees fell, all the covered men rushed to the spot in confusion. Just one more thing, this Kubera is also a cousin of Ravan. So if he did Ramayana, there's a story of how Ravan becomes, Ravan's mother actually marries to Kuvera's father actually, and then they become actually cousins. So I have that story also, but I have to fetch it. Okay. I'll try to see if I can catch that part. So, hearing the loud crash as the two trees fell, all the coward men rushed to the spot in confusion. They couldn't figure out why the trees had suddenly come crashing down. Few young boys nearby said to them. So now the young boys are telling to everybody seniors there. When Krishna went between the trees with the mortar, it got stuck, and he pulled it so hard that the trees fell down. And these are huge trees, not just very small trees. Then two celestial beings appeared from the trees. We witnessed all of this. And they're saying, there were two celestial beings came out, and we or the children are saying they witnessed, but the elders couldn't believe it. Due to the deep parental love, they couldn't believe that Krishna had uprooted the trees. Still, some of them considered the possibility, remembering Garg Muni's prediction that Krishna had the qualities like Narayan. Finally, King Nanda stepped forward and untied Krishna from the mortar. The elders of Gokul felt happy that Krishna was unarmed. Just a minute. मैं थोड़ा आवाज कम करेगी क्या? Sorry. So finally, Nanda stepped forward and untied Krishna from the mortar. The elders of Gokul felt happy that Krishna was unharmed, yet they were concerned about these unexpected calamities. They all gathered together to discuss about Krishna's safety. What measures did they take to safeguard Krishna? The next chapter reveals it. So now everybody is concerned, regular incidents are happening here. What should they do? And they started discussing. A lesson on wealth. So this is a lesson from Nalakuver and Managri, what we should learn. Is it wrong to have wealth? The answer is no. But it is wrong to become falsely proud of one's wealth. But generally, if you see, wealthy people, they become proud, So today, somebody will say, I have iPhone Pro Max or a big car. So they get that pride feeling, with wealth. But we should use these resources just as resources, not get attached to them and not allow pride to enter. So if you are using something for some purpose, good purpose, it is good. So if we are having a car, there's no problem in having a good car. But don't get proud of it. And we are using that for our regular use. So pride in wealth can make one reckless and forget all good manners. So here, our Prabhupada ji used to travel in foreign countries. So people, the media used to ask, why you're a saint, you're a sage, why are you traveling in such expensive cars? So he used to get, people used to take him in very expensive cars at that time. So cars were only not there. And that also, he used to get the Lamborghinis and the Lexus and Mercedes of that time. And he used to travel. So then he used to say, what are you talking about? This is my car. This is or planes. He used to travel in planes also. So he used to answer to the media, my Lord has vehicles made of gold, gems, and jewels. This is all made of tin and rubber. What are you comparing? So this is nothing, and I'm using this only for good purpose. I'm not using this for my enjoyment and this thing. So he was using those resources so that he could reach fast, because he started this movement in the late 70s. In fact, when he started doing this, went to USA. So his age was less, and he had very less time to cover the whole world, and that's the reason he used planes. He could not, otherwise he could not have reached so many places. So his objective was to have more temples, to make people Krishna conscious. So if the objective is right, then using the resources for that right purpose is not a problem. But always be humble. Do not be proud. Nothing else can damage someone's intelligence as much as being consumed by the pride of wealth. One should use one's riches for one's own maintenance, to benefit others, and in the service of the Lord. So 3 things we should do: one's maintenance, not not very excess, not in excess. It should be limited, also to benefit others and in the service of the Lord. So in the Shastras, who is defined as a thief? Who is a thief as per the Shastra? The Shastras define a thief, somebody who has excess of the resources. He's a thief. Without whatever he needs more than he's having the resources, wealth, he's actually a thief. If somebody has excess wealth, he should use it for charity, building temples for others, in the service of others. He should not be creating, because sometimes, I don't know, some large corporates, like also Mukesh Ambani, they might be doing some charity also, but they build this hospitals or educational institutions, but they build that for not poor. They're not building for poor. They're actually building it for making money. Like somebody tells me, in Dhirubhai Ambani school, which is in Bombay, they charge 1 lakh rupees per month as a school fees for children. I don't know how much it's true, but it's a huge fees they charge. And then there's one hospital they have running, but there also the charges are very high. So that's not the right thing. You're misusing your resources. So it's not correct. So the resources should be used for benefit of others if you have excess resources, and in the service of the Lord. I see Wipro chairman Asim Premji, he does a lot of charity. He has in fact decided, some percentage, almost 50-60% of his wealth, he'll give it for charity, nothing. So people should understand, Lord God has given wealth. they have given excess wealth. It's not that you start enjoying more. You start spending more. You have your limits. Do not cross that limit. When wealth Lakshmi is used for the service of Lord Narayan, then no matter how rich or influential we become, we'll always be dear to the Lord. But if one becomes puffed up of wealth and disrespects great souls, one has to face bitter consequences like Kuvera's son. So, see, Kuvera's son, what happened? They actually became into wrong habits, and because of the wealth, they became proud. And actually, you can see in Bombay, particularly in South Bombay, they call it Sobo. South Bombay is called Sobo in Bombay. The children there, they, you know, they have really not good habits. They go into drinking. They in fact go into drugs also. So because of money, there's no parents. Both parents are working or parents are not there to take care, but the habits are not good. So wealth actually is very dangerous to have too much of wealth. That's where we should be very careful. Anything anyone wants to say? Any comments? Any feedback? I'm audible?
Prabhuji, I've heard like the Ambani's family, they do like 4 rounds of chanting in the morning.
Which is good. They do charity also, according to me, but
Yeah,
that's
like even for Ayodhya, they have
uh,
donated some 2.5 odd crores rupees.
well, that's why they do a lot of charity, but something of the school and this thing, I feel that is little not fair. But I understand Mukesh Ambani, they do a lot of charity. Absolutely. They build temples, they give a lot of charity. To ISKCON also, they give a lot of charity.
Yes, yes. And even the like the kitchen which was set up in Ayodhya, like
Uh,
every day more than 10,000 plus devotees were fed. So like
correct.
every day, like every one day, like some of the other corporate only has funded the entire thing.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I was seeing one interview of correct. So of course, this time it's the first time this Ayodhya we could see corporates openly coming out and supporting temples, which was such a nice thing, in the country. So many corporates they came
Yes,
forward.
absolutely, Prabhuji. Like even like last year, like I'd gone to
Mm.
like Puri, so there was
Mm.
this Yatra by Radhanath Swami, Maharaj.
Correct. Radha
So we
Swami
had
Maharaj
gone
ji.
there. Yes,
You have been there
and
along with the group.
sorry.
You went along with the group.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Very amazing. So Gaurang Das Prabhuji is the one who takes care of the kitchen of
Correct.
GV,
So like
Govardhan
Gauranga
Village.
Prabhu had set up the entire thing, and some 10.5 lakh devotees were there. Participated, and the
Mm.
entire kitchen had the railway track set up to
Yeah.
shift the
And
food from one place to another.
huge vessels and gas and this thing. I saw that video. In fact, my son showed me that video. It was amazing, truly amazing to set up such a huge kitchen. And
Yes,
here also
yes,
in
and I
Ayodhya
got the
also,
opportunity to do seva also there in the kitchen.
very nice and very fortunate.
Yeah.
So then you would have met Gaurang Das Prabhuji also.
Yes, yes, I met him. I met Radhanath
He's
Swami Maharaj also.
very fortunate. Radharani Swami Maharaj, meeting him is very difficult. He's very
Yeah,
difficult
because
to.
like to be part of his troop, like you need to do 16
Uh,
rounds of chanting, and I do only
uh,
6 rounds right now. Like Ekadashi, I do 16, but like
uh,
otherwise, I do 6 rounds only.
Try
So,
to come to
like,
16. Try to reach.
sorry?
Try to come to 16 at least. Very
Yes,
important.
Shobhit, I'm trying.
You're
So
working.
then,
What you do? You're in service or you what you do? Your business.
everybody
I
in
think
the
you.
business over there.
So you can keep a counter which is there in a finger. You can take it in a finger. I use that in my office. So I, whenever in my office, if I'm free, I use a finger counter. So I can't use a chanting bag the mala at the time. So counter
Okay,
is also good enough for doing chanting. So that is also useful. You can use that in your
that's
business
right.
time if you're free.
So
So
I usually complete my chanting in the morning hours only, Prabhuji, and then later I do the reading and Bhagavatam reading and hearing. I
okay.
do all that then.
That you do, but try to do 16
But
rounds.
yes,
That is
yeah, I'm trying to increase around to 16. Yeah, I want to
use
do it. Hopefully by
a
the end of the year I'll do that, Prabhuji.
hopefully. I'll pray for you to you reach 16. You should. Hello, TK. Great. So, and this Gaurang Das Prabhuji is a IIT Mumbai. He's an amazing
Yeah.
highly qualified person. I recently, you should
Actually,
see his interview on. He did an interview with on Ayodhya Temple also, Ram Mandir.
yes, yes.
His interview
I
was
saw.
amazing, so clear, clarity of thought and clarity of speech. Means
Yes,
the interviewer was trying to provoke him, but he didn't get diverted from what he wanted to say, and very very
correct.
controlled uh, speech. He's really a great person. I
Yeah.
love.
Even in Ayodhya
Uh,
also, he has done the entire setup of the kitchen.
yes, yes, I told you, no, yes,
Yeah.
he has done. Ayodhya also, he has done the full kitchen setup for daily 10,000 devotees. Food will be, I think, they are preparing that prasadam
Correct. So
to the
ISKCON
people.
Chapati and Govardhan Eco Village, both put together, they have done the
Yes,
setup.
yes. Because I've
Yeah.
seen one lady, Jalpa Lukhi, there's one lady called Miss Jalpa. She is part of Nityanand Chandra's group in Chopati. So one day she has given one day ka prasadam ka contribution. She is sponsored.
Okay.
So
Lovely.
in the interview was there of that I was seeing that video also. So this is all. See, people who are rich, they use their money for right purposes. Now their money will actually double. I've seen people who do this seva, give for temples, do the seva of prasadam for devotees. Your wealth will, you will not, people will not realize, their wealth will never reduce. It will only keep on increasing. But do this, continue to do the seva. It's an amazing thing to do.
Right,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for
Thank you so
sharing.
much.
Unique treasure hunt. Imagine you are on a treasure hunt, but instead of searching for hidden gold, you search for your inner treasures, your good values like kindness, honesty, devotion, etc. Also think how you can overcome the tricky obstacles like being too proudy or on your path and reach your the true wealth within. So did I complete only one of this chapter now? Okay. What is it? Okay, we'll do one more, then I'll do Bhagavatam, other Bhagavatam. Escaping troubles and embracing Vrindavan. Once the elderly Gopas gathered for a meeting to discuss how incessant disturbance at Gokul Mahavan could be stopped. King Nanda's brother Upananda, who was wise and experienced, stood up to share his advice about keeping Krishna and all the Brajvasis safe. So now they are discussing, so many of troubles are happening. So let us go out of Gokul. So we are staying in Gokul Mahavan, but lot of disturbances are happening. So King Nanda's brother was there, Upanand. He was experienced, and then he said he started giving advice to all that how they can be safe. So he says there are too many problems here at Gokul, and they are putting Galram and Krishna in danger. As Upanand was sharing his thoughts, little Krishna arrived there, curious about what was happening. Upanand gently placed Krishna on his lap and continued talking about the past happenings involving Krishna. So here also see the discussion is centered around Krishna because the problems are coming on Krishna. Krishna is part of all the these things. So wherever Krishna is there, problems are there. Correct, no? Huh? So wherever he was there in with Arjuna, with the Pandavas also, the problems were always there. But he was the one who was solving also. It's not that the problems. So in our lives also, problems are always there. But we need a uh, Krishna in our life who will always ensure that our problems are solved. And with that, we also uh, get the benefits. Dear friends, he addressed everyone. By the grace of Lord Hari, Krishna has been protected from various dangers like Rakshasa Putna, the scary handcart, the whirlwind, demon Trinavarta, and even the recent fall of the Yamala Arjun trees. None of the kids were hurt in these incidents, even though they were very close. But we must remain cautious. I believe these problems are caused by some mysterious demon. Before another trouble comes our way, let's move to another place with our kids and cows. Now he's suggesting, so much of problems have come. Let us move out from here now. Let us leave Gokul. So, so these places, in Gokul, when you go, there is a temple called Chaurasi Khamba, the palace of where Nand Maharaj stayed. And then there is a place where this Leela occurred of Damodar Lila happened. So that place is also there. So, but what happens, people have made 2, 3 places like Idhar Hui Thi Lila, Idhar Hui Thi Lila. So but it happened somewhere in Gokul. So these places are still there. So Brijvasi listened attentively to Upanand's wise words and thought about where they should go if they left Gokul. So now they're thinking, where we should go if we have to leave Gokul, because generally we are always attached to our houses. It's very difficult for shifting to a new location. So Upanand then spoke. There's a place called Vrindavan located between Gokul, Mahavan and Nandeshwara. It's a beautiful place full of lush grass, plants and creepers for our cows. There are gardens, mountains and everything we need for the Gopas and Gopis. In Vrindavan, you will also find a magnificent mountain called Govardhan and the peaceful banks of the auspicious Yamuna River. So now they are moving to Vrindavan, and Vrindavan is a beautiful place. There further Lilas will happen. So there is also, that place is also beautiful, lush grass, plant, and Govardhan is there. So Govardhan is Lord Krishna himself. So he is there in peaceful banks of Yamuna River. The cowherd community used to live in Nandeshwara earlier. However, they had to leave that place because of their fear of a demon called Aristasura, who was still there. So Upananda now suggested moving to Vrindavan. He went on, if you all think my idea is good, let's not wait. We should head to Vrindavan today itself. All the cowherd men enthusiastically agreed with the suggestion. They agreed they arranged the elderly, women, children, and their belongings onto the bullock cart. So immediately they were ready. Yes, this idea is good. Implement now. No need for further discussion. And they were ready. They said, let's pack up. So they started packing everything. They put all the elderly people, women and children on the bullock carts and the things. They placed the cows in the front and held their bows and arrows and blew bugles to signal the start of the journey. Accompanied by the priest, they set off on their way. So they started. And in those times, it was on the bullock carts everyone used to travel. The gopis sitting on the bullock carts looked lovely in their dresses and were adorned with kumkuma. They joyfully sang about Krishna's pastimes. Mothers Yashoda and Rohini climbed onto the carts with their dear sons Krishna and Balram. Thus they entered Vrindavan, which was pleasing in all seasons. They arranged the bullock carts in a crescent shape. So that shape, I think there's a photo given. I'll check if it's a. So it's a crescent shape. It's a shed so that sun doesn't come. So it's a shed like a thing. So it's covered to create a temporary resting spot. Meanwhile, Balram and Krishna were thrilled to explore Vrindavan, Govardhan, and river Yamuna's banks. After the cowherd community shifted to Vrindavan, did they stay peacefully without any disturbances, or did they face attacks by demons? So we'll read further. So everybody has moved and they are shifting to Vrindavan. So at that time, people used to have temporary houses. They were not proper pakka makan, so they could go there and create fresh houses. It was not very difficult. A lesson on guidance seeking. In life, this is little important for all of us in life at any moment of time. In life, we often face tough challenges that make us feel stuck and unsure. Anxiety is there. Sometimes we feel stuck. What should we do? Or we are not clear about taking a decision. In such moments, turning to experienced people can greatly help. Like the people in Vrindavan seeking advice from Upananda, we gain valuable insights from our elders and mentors. So always take advice from experienced people, elders, parents, and mentors. They have a wealth of knowledge and life experience that can guide us through tough times and help us make smart choices. By following the advice, we get the strength to handle life challenges better. So whenever there's a problem in life, whenever you have done a mistake, immediately go to your parents or go to your elders and admit it and just seek advice. Or whenever you are in a problem, when you're facing some challenges, please, we should take advice. Taking advice is not a problem. Okay, we collect. So this chapter 26 we'll do later. Right now I'll start with, actually I'll start, since we have this Ram temple of Ayodhya, I wanted to do a small, I want to read some small story from Baal Kant of Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana. So in that, in Ramayana, we know that Dashrath Maharaj was ruling the kingdom very nicely. Everything was going very well, but he always he was not happy with one thing, because he did not have a son. So he did not know, how his dynasty will move forward. So he did not have a son, and he was actually worried. So then he sought advice from Sumantra. So his prime minister, he was there. So Sumantra, and then he took his advice. What should I do for this thing? So his minister advised that you should do a Ashwamedh Yagna. So there are two types of yagnas which used to happen. One is Ashwamedh Yagna and Rajasuya Yagna. So Ashwamedh Yagna is a sacrifice where a horse is sent along with soldiers, and the horse roams around the world. If somebody stops it, then basically, if somebody stops, he doesn't want Dashrath Maharaj to be the king of the world, he'll stop the horse and he will fight. But if the person accepts, Dashrath Maharaj is the proper ruler, he's the king, he's powerful, then they will let the horse move. So this horse will complete this uh, round of moving around the world and come back, and then the horse will be sacrificed with proper mantras, and that horse will go to heaven and become a devta or something. It will be at high level. So this used to happen at that time, Treta time, not now. So it's not advisable. The second yajna was Rajasuya Yajna, which Yudhishthira Maharaj did. When Yudhishthira Maharaj did, then it's in the Rajasuya Yajna, there's no horse, but he declares himself that he's a powerful and the supreme, is a to rule the king, and if anybody has an objection, that king will object, and he can fight. So in that also, all the kings had accepted Yudhishthira as the king. So here, Sumantra is suggesting Maharaj Dashrath, you do one Ashwamedh Yajna. But now they are discussing who should do that Yajna. So when you have to do such a great thing, so you should have a right priest, right sage also to do that. It cannot be done by some ordinary or some. So they need the best of the sages too. So they were thinking, who should be that sage who should do this yajna. Sumantra is then telling him about his friend. So Maharaj Dashrath had a friend called Romapada. So there was a friend called Romapada. So Romapada was King Dashrath's friend, and Romapada had actually taken Maharaj Dashrath's daughter. Maharaj Dashrath had a daughter called Shanta. So this Romapada, who was the king, he had requested Maharaj Dashrath to give his daughter, because he was childless. He did not have a child. He said, I want to take your daughter and I'll grow her as my child. So Maharaj Dashrath had given his daughter, and so they were friends. So Sumantra is telling this Shanta, the daughter of Romapada, has married to a saint called Rishi Shringa, and he's the best sage to do this thing. So Rishi Shringa's background is there. So Rishi Shringa was a son of Vibandaka. And Vibandaka was also a son of this one. His father's name was Kashyap. So Vibandaka was a son of Kashyap, and Kashyap is a son of Lord Brahma. So Vibandaka's son was Rishi Shringa, and the story is that Rishi Shringa and Vibandaka had kept his son Rishi Shringa in a forest, isolated. So he was staying there. Both the father and the son, they used to stay there alone, and he used to teach him austerity, everything, and they used to live on fruits. And Rishi Shringa had never seen the outside world. He had never seen the outside world. So what happened? So once Romapada's kingdom had a lot of drought. There was no rains throughout this thing. So he was worried, the rains were not happening. And he told to his minister, this is because of my past bad deeds. So the king, if there is some problem in the kingdom, the problem is because the king has done some past bad misdeeds are there, past bad deeds are there, because of which there's no prosperity, the rains are not happening. So he knew that, it is because of his problem. So then his minister suggested, what you should do, you should bring Rishi Shringa to your kingdom and marry to your daughter Shanta, then rains will come. So he said, okay, but then how to bring Rishi Shringa to this kingdom? Because Rishi Shringa is staying alone and he has not seen anybody, and you can't tell his father, give me your son. He'll not give. So then they said, so the king decided, Romapada, that we will use a tactics. So what they said, we will send some courtesans, some ladies, females to the forest, and we'll give them a lot of money. So they lure Rishi Shringa and bring him to the kingdom of Romapada. So they do the plan, and these courtesans, they go to that place in a floating boat house. So if you see in Kashmir, there are floating boat houses now. So that way they go into a floating boat house. They go there. So Rishi Shringa, once he was roaming alone, he sees this boat and he meets these ladies. He sees them, he feels, feels very attracted to, he had seen anybody other than his father for the first time. So he thought, these are also males only. And he said, who are you? And all those things. So they said, we are this thing. And Somapada, this Rishi Shringa takes these ladies to his house, and there he welcomes them and takes care. Then these ladies were worried, his father will come, then they'll be worried. They said, okay, we have to go. You come to our place, then we will serve you. So then Rishi Shringa was also, but they said before leaving, what they did, they embarrassed him. So since these were ladies, they embarrassed him and very tightly, and then they left. After that, Rishi Shringa actually started feeling a little restless, and he was thinking about them. Next day, when he got the opportunity, he went to their place and sat there, and they gave him sweets and the thing, and he was very happy. And they said, we have much more beautiful place. This is only temporary, so we'll take you there. So they take him in this floating boat. Rishi Shringa comes into the boat, and they take them there. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Bhavani, Shankar Dasi, Jagannath Puri Dham. We'll have a chat with you sometimes, sure. So nice of you to join, Prabhuji. Yeah, so now Rishi Shringa is taken to Romapada's place, to the kingdom. And just when he touches his feet on that land, the rains come. So how many of you have seen a movie called Guide of Devanand? Very old movie. So if anybody has seen the movie called Guide, सब छोटे ही हैं, nobody, no reactions. एक मूवी है गाइड देवानंद एंड राजकुमारी सीन, उसमें एक फेमस गाना है, आज फिर जीने की तमन्ना है, क्या नाम है हीरोइन का. So it was a famous movie. That also movie talks about this, a great sage, Devanand actually comes there, and when he touches the land, he comes in a disguise of a saint, and when he touches, the rains come. So there was drought across, and the rains come. Okay. So then the rains come, and then here also, when immediately the rains came, see, when the sages enter our houses, they come to our places, they bring lot of austerity, they lot of positiveness, and they will ensure, it will bring lot of good things to us. So here also, when Rishi Shringa reaches Romapada's place, he brings lot of the rains come, and then Rishi is very happy. Romapada gives his daughter Shanta to Rishi Shringa and requests him that you convince your father that he should not become angry, because he had brought Rishi Shringa here in a duplicitous way, in a little cheating manner, So he requested him, and that way they married. So now with this background, Dashrath Maharaj requests Romapada, please send your brother, son-in-law and your daughter to my place to do this yagna. So then this same Rishi Shringa comes and does the Ashwamedh yagna for Dashrath Maharaj. So when this yagna happens, still this Rishi Shringa tells to Dashrath Maharaj, you will have to do one more yagna for having a son. So that's a Pitresu yagna. So that Pitresu yagna you will do, then you will have son. So then when that sacrifices, that yagna is also done, then Lord Vishnu, in his dark form, he appears from the yagna and gives a pot of rice. So he tries to Maharaj Dashrath, saying that now you give this pot of rice to your queen. So this pot of rice is given to the queens in a manner of, what he gives, for one half portion is given to Mother Kaushalya. So half is given to Mother Kaushalya. Then second 1/4 is given to Sumitra, and 1/8 is given to Kaikeyi. So now 1/4, half is gone, 1/4 is gone, 1/8 is gone. The balance portion is 1/8. So balance 1/8 portion is there. Then they debate and they decide. They give it to Sumitra, because Sumitra decided that my two sons, I will want two sons, so that one son can be served to the son of Mother Kaushalya, and other son will serve to the son of Mother Kaikeyi. So that way, Sumitra gets Lakshman and Shatrughna, and Ram is born to Kaushalya, Bharat is born to Kaikeyi. So this is the way this was distributed, and they all had 4 sons. So this is from Ramayana. I wanted to start because we are all listening about Lord Ram. So this story I wanted to share. Any questions? Anything? Yeah, Babani Shankar Das, I don't know, you have sent a message that you are Jagannath Puri Dham. So nice to have you. I hope you are able to listen to us and listen to me. Okay. Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, now we'll continue the Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam, so see this Bhagavatam Tales 4, which Gaurang Darshan Das Prabhuji has written, it's a little short one. He will be coming out with 5, 6 versions also, because Lord Krishna's stories, the 10th canto has 4 books. It's within what Prabhupada has written, so it is quite big. So what we'll do, we'll continue this. So I'm reading Bhagavatam Tales 2, continuing from that. So we listen to the story of Rishabdev. So Rishabdev is an avatar of Lord Vishnu, and we'll listen to that story. So Swayambhav Manu, who is the son of Brahma, he had 2 sons. We saw Uttanpada and Priyavarta. So Uttanpada, there were various kings which came from his kingdom. Dhruv, Anga, Prithu, the Prachetas. So we listen to that story also. And Pracheta's son was Daksha. But Daksha, what he decided, he didn't want to become a king. So he went to perform austerities and did not marry. So then Swayambhav Manu told, how will the dynasty progress? So then they decided to make Priyavarta as the king, and he wanted them to marry. But Priyavarta also did not want to marry because he had accepted Narad Muni as his guru, and he also wanted to remain, out of this business of marriage. But here, in this situation, there was nobody. So Swayambhav Manu requested Priyavarta to do this, rule the dynasty, and manage the kingdom, and get married also, because he had all qualities. So he could not refuse his father's order. And then Lord Brahma, who was his grandfather, he also came, and he also requested him. He also told him, you become a king. So then finally he decided, okay, since my father and my grandfather are telling me to do this, so he decided to become a king, and then he married also. He took the kingdom, but he told ki, I will continue my spiritual life even after marriage. So in today's world, he's one of the examples, Priyavarta, that you can always do spiritual activity even after marriage, even after being into a household life. It's not that if we come in household life that we can do this thing, spiritual chanting. So today you see a lot of Vaishnavas who are grahasthas, and they do follow proper rules and regulations, and they do the spiritual. So he was also disciplined and controlled. Then he continued to do this, manage. So then he also married. He married, and he had 2 queens, and with 13 sons and 1 daughter. So then again, he did not have any interest. So what he did, after he had sons, and then he decided to. So before that, Priyavarta, there's a story of Priyavarta that once he saw that sun used to rise only on one portion. It used to give light only one portion. The other side used to remain dark. So what he did, made himself. He was so powerful, he created himself as the sun. So he used to follow the sun's orbit. So where the sun is not present, he used to give light there. So and he used to turn the night into day. So there was always 24 hours, there was brightness. So he was a rotating sun. He was following the sun's orbit. And he was cooler than the moon in hot months, and then he was warmer than the sun in cold periods. So he did all these things, and when he used to roam, he was roaming on a chariot. With that chariot, his wheels created ring-shaped ditches, and those ring-shaped ditches became 7 oceans of the world. So the 7 oceans became when Priyavarta was roaming on his chariot behind the sun. So he was roaming on the sun's orbit. So those 7 oceans came, and then because of that, there were 7 islands also on the earth. So this 7 islands were also formed, and 7 oceans. So this was the way how this place was. The earth got 7 oceans and 7 earths. And then after ruling for the earth for 1,000 years, Priyavarta decided, I will leave the kingdom. So what he did, he made 7 of his 13 sons. So he decided after the 7 of the sons, he made them the kings of the 7 islands. So he made them this, and 3 of the sons became brahmacharis, and the 3 sons became manus and future. So this is the way he distributed, and then he left for worshipping Lord Krishna as per this thing. So now this happened. Then Priyavata's first son, whose name was Agnidhara, he was ruling a kingdom of Jambudvipa, the middlemost island of Bhumandal, and he was managing everything. He worshipped Lord Brahma there, and he desired to have a son. So he also wanted to marry. Then Lord Brahma arranged his marriage, and then he also got 9 sons who were also ruling the kingdom. So Priyavata's son Agnidhara. Then Agnidhara also had a son called Nabi. So Nabi is a famous personality. Nabi was the eldest son of Agnidhara, and he ruled the Bharatvarsha. So he was which is a prominent part. So he ruled, and his wife's name was Meru Devi. So Nabi and Meru Devi they prayed to Lord Vishnu and with great devotion. And then they requested Lord Vishnu, just a minute. So Nabi and Meru Devi, they worshipped Lord Vishnu, and then they prayed to Lord Vishnu that, I want a son like you. So Lord Vishnu told, there cannot be a son like me. I'll only have to come as your son. So Lord Vishnu, then he comes as a son, as Rishabdev. Rishabdev was the son who comes, and then he's the son of Nabi. So Rishabdev actually, what I have heard, I'm not sure if it's true, that the Jain community is a offspring of Rishabdev. So from Rishabdev, this Jain community has evolved. This thing that's I've heard somewhere. This thing. So Nabi and Meru Devi, then they made Rishabdev the king, and then they left for tapasya. So Rishabdev's story is there. Then Rishabdev. So Rishabdev, what happened? So when he was ruling the kingdom, so Indra, he became envious with Rishabdev because Rishabdev was very famous. He became envious and he stopped the rains. But Rishabdev, then what he did with his power, he ensured that the rains are coming. So he ensured the rains were there in the kingdom. And Rishabdev had 100 sons, and the eldest one of them was Bharat. So Rishabdev's son was Bharat, and Bharat's story is excellent story. We'll listen up to that maybe on Friday. Jad Bharat. That is one of my favorite stories of how we get disgraced. There's an amazing learning on how we should do meditation, how we should do chanting. So that will come in the next session. So Rishabdev's son was Bharat. So Rishabdev, Nabi and Meru Devi's son was Rishabdev, and Rishabdev's son was Bharat. And this is the way this lineage is moving. And then Rishabdev managed the kingdom, everything properly. And so here one thing is mentioned actually, which gives an example of why this Jainism is linked to Rishabdev, is that when he traveled as without speaking. So he was did a moon breath kind of a thing. He did a lot of sacrifices, and he traveled across the world. And he gave teachings to his sons, and then he left. He gave them the knowledge of Bhakti and left. So he taught the children, you should worship, develop a love for Lord Vasudev by hearing his name and chanting the names. And then he made his elder son Bharat to rule the kingdom. So Rishabdev took a vow of silence and left home to tour the world. So he didn't speak after that. Once he said, he never used to speak. He acted like an Avadut who externally appears like a madman, but is internally absorbed in spiritual consciousness. Foolish people threatened and threw stones and dust at him, but he remained indifferent like an elephant surrounded by flies. He was situated in his spiritual glory and didn't care for this material insults. Even as an Avaduta, he appeared beautiful in his divine spiritual world. So he left and he was living like a madman. So nobody used to realize, and Rishabdev left. So then, although he had mystic powers, but he did not bother. He did not want to take this thing. He wandered all around the world, earth, and reached Karnataka in South India, and there he concluded his pastimes by entering into a forest fire. So there was a forest fire. He entered there, and everybody was, in fact, the trees and animals there also were liberated because of Rishabdev. So after that, the next story we'll do is of King Bharat uh, in the next session. Yeah. So I'll stop here. Anybody has any questions? Point? Or I'll end. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.